Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of WorkHARDaholics. Alrighty then, today we're going to share with you some information your business needs to know so that you don't get in trouble with the federal government. We're going to share with you some things you need to know about your brand and your brand colors. We're going to help you understand how you can have a better relationship with your customer. All that and more in just a few moments on WorkHARDaholics. Welcome to the WorkHARDAholics Show with your host, the original WorkHARDaholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Welcome to another episode of WorkHARDaholics. I am Shirley Crawford, your host, and let the games begin. So, we want to say first and foremost, thank you to all of you who have subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're trying to build that number up. And for those of you who are a part of our WorkHARDaholic family, bienvenido. Welcome. Glad to have you back again. We have information, tools, resources, things you can use to be a better entrepreneur, a better leader, and a better person. So let's get this party started. Okay, so first things first, this is information we've been sharing for the past couple of weeks, but we want to make sure that everyone knows, right? So we want you to do business better. We want you to do life better. So first and foremost, if you have not already ordered your COVID test, then you can reach out to the federal government at covidtest with an S on the end.gov. You can get 4 free test kits per household. I highly recommend it because you're around people and this person has it and that person has it. A really quick way to test to make sure that you don't have it. Just helping you out there, people. Go to covidtest.gov, pick up your COVID test. They will send them to you in the mail through the USPS. So you can get that taken care of immediately. Another piece of information for you business owners. I've been saying it for a while now. We'll probably be saying it until tax time is over because we want to make sure that you're taking care of the aspect of your business to help you stay legal, to help you stay out of jail, and to help your business be sustainable for future generations to come. So, for those of you who during this time of the pandemic, if you made it through, congratulations. Maybe you got PPP money, maybe you got idle money, whatever the case may be, the federal government is now requiring that some of you who have received those dollars to have an audit done. I've said before, as someone who has worked for nonprofits and other organizations that have audits done all the time, it might feel daunting. I think anytime someone tells you the IRS is thinking about you, it feels a little daunting. So that's why we're trying to give you this heads up. If you want to know if your organization, if your business needs to file that audit, reach out to your qualified CPA. It's tax season anyway. Hopefully you all have a CPA. If not, here's the time to get one. Reach out and find out, do you need to file your audit for your business, right? And you've heard us mention Uncle Marvin. You can reach out to Marvin's Tax Services. No plug there. I'm just sharing, or whoever your CPA is. We know lots of them around here. So find yours, establish a good relationship. A good CPA, a good banker, a good attorney, and you are in good business. All right? So that's what we wanted to share with you all about that. Now, as we delve into our business better segment, here's the thing that we want to start making available to you all right? So you all might not have the hundreds of dollars that it takes to sit down with me in a consultation. Or I don't know your budget. Or you're just getting started, or you've been in business for a while, and you really just have a quick question, and you're just like, I just want to have a quick question. I just want a quick answer. But I need the answer to be legit, correct, and appropriate. Here's your chance. WorkHARDaholics is offering an Ask Your Question segment. Okay? So all you're going to do is you can email to admin at WorkHARDAholics.com with your question. And if you're lucky, we'll answer your question during the show. So we're including that. It's for free, just for you. All right, so send in your questions. So we're going to start off with our first question. This question came from Lakeisha. And she said, hey, she had a question about name change and business credit. And she wants to change her business name, but she's concerned that it'll impact her business credit because of the age of the company. And I was like, hey, what a great question. We'll be sure to make sure we bring that one up and share it with the WorkHARDaholic fam. Here is the deal. When it comes to your business name, so I'm Shirley. I'm Shirley E. Crawford. That's what you'll find on all my legal documents. And actually, it isn't E. My middle name is very rarely shown on anything. Although I love it just fine. I just don't share it. None of your business. All right? But my nickname, which is really just my name spelled differently, is Cheryl-E. Don't ask me why. I am so straight-laced that even my nickname is just my name. That's just how straight-laced and boring I can be. Okay? So, but if you have a nickname, right? And so people call you by that nickname, they're still calling you. Your age hasn't changed. Your weight hasn't changed, although some of us wish that it would. Your height hasn't changed. Nothing about you has changed. You just have a nickname. And so what happens with that nickname is that for some reason, a really popular nickname, maybe I just hear it a lot on television, is Junebug. I don't know if that's like a Southern, and I'm in the South, but it's something about it. It pops up every now and again. And so Junebug probably has a real name. I could be wrong, but I doubt that his legal documentation, his birth certificate says Junebug. But in the circles of family and friends, that's what he is known by. He's known by Junebug. In the real world, he is William Epstein III, right? So when you have for your business, you can also have a nickname. It's just that simple. You don't have to change anything else. You can have your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, B Corp, and you can have nicknames. And you might have a nickname that is just for this aspect of your business, a nickname that is just for that aspect of your business, right? There's a whole other conversation about how you handle those nicknamed businesses with regards to your P&L and your chart of accounts. There are different methodologies that you can do for that, but that's not the question on the table. If that's your question, send it in and we'll go deeper into it. But for now, we're just talking about the nicknames for your business. Okay? So if you have a nickname in business terminology, that's called a DBA, or a certification of fictitious name certification. A DBA is a doing business as. Depending on where you live, so I'm in Virginia, and so I'm in Richmond in particular, it used to be to do your DBA, you had to go to the courthouse and file, and it was still like $10. It wasn't anything ridiculous. Now for Virginia, I don't know about your state, but you know you're going to check one or the other to do your fictitious name certification or your DBA. And if you're really, really casual, you're AKA, also known as, but officially it's DBA, DBA or fictitious name certification. You file it with the State Corporation Commission. So you head on over to the SCC, the State Corporation Commission, and for us, that's scc.virginia.gov. You can find out where it is for your state, your locality. This is just within the United States. I do not know how it operates in other countries, but I plan to find out because I think I want to go set up shop in Puerto Rico. But back to you. So if you just change your name, or if you just add a nickname, it has no impact on your business. It does not change your EIN, your employment identification number. It doesn't change anything else about your business. It just changes what people call you in whatever circle you want to use it. So, and the answer to Lakeisha's question is, changing your name has no impact on your business credit. It has no impact on behind the scenes. It's just from the forward facing, you've rebranded or you've started a new business still within the same LLC, S Corp, C Corp, B Corp. So Hope that I know that answers your question, Lakeisha, but if you have another, let us know. And if you have a question, once again, email us at admin@workhardaholics.com. I don't know if I'm able to say the name of the show without singing it now. I'm not sure. All right. So on that note, um, we want to share with you all. Really, I am having the best day. That's what I want to share with you all. Having a great day. Want to take a moment because we wanted to say that yesterday was the first day of Black History Month, and want to honor that. And I hope that you're all celebrating in whatever ways that you know best. For the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing a spotlight on different African Americans of past and present in honor to those who have done the work and provided space and room for us in our careers, our pathways, and whatever else is happening in our lives. And I want to share a quick story. So, as I think about all the things that have happened before this moment in time for myself, like this is part of the reason why I love Black History Month, not just because I'm African American, but because there are contributions of individuals who have been ignored, overlooked, tread upon, and just considered like their due diligence. Like it was not due diligence, forgive me. It was just considered an expectation of people that that's what they did, and they weren't given credit for it. So this is what I would love. I would love it if each of you would take a moment and think about an African American, present or past, who has had an impact on you. I'm going to share the one for me I'm going to save my favorite. I talk about it every year. So if you've been with us before, you've heard me say it before. I talk about her all the time. But I'm going to address her next week. This time around, I want you to think about who is that person for you. And I want to start this time around with saying the African American person who has been the most influential, the most impactful for me is none other than my mother. So whenever I think about quitting, giving up, frustration, I think about this amazing woman who had less than an 8th grade education, who is an author. She speaks. She was one of the first missionaries from my church. She's retired now, but she has been a business owner. She's amazing with the math, with the financial planning. She's stellar with her marketing and her advertisement. Like, she has no fear, but she's lived a life. I mean, she is 82, 81, 82. So she's lived through segregation and all kinds of other issues, and she's come out strong. So I don't know who your inspiration is, but she's mine. And if you don't have one, I don't mind sharing her. So once again, happy Black History Month, people. Celebrate it, honor it, don't minimalize it, respect it. All right? Because even the camera I'm working on and all these other things would not be possible if not for the efforts of an African American. Salute. At this point, we're going to have a word from our sponsors. If you too would like to be a sponsor, then drop us a line at admin@WorkHARDaholics.com. Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA. When you're ready for more than just office space, come join the WBCRVA family. Alrighty then. Once again, thank you to our sponsors who make this show possible. All right, I'm really excited. I mentioned, I think last week, we actually had an interview with Crystal Dandridge at the Book Bar. And so they're opening on Saturday. I am so excited. I keep saying it. I'll say it again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm looking for like a Black Cheers. I'm looking for a place where I can go mellow out and, have that. I want to walk in the door and be like, Shirley. I say I want that. I don't know that I really want that. I like walking into rooms and no one noticing me so that I can go be and sit and no one's asking me any questions. I'm an introvert, people. What do you want from me? I'm an introvert. But I want to play. I like to people watch. And so I'm so looking forward to going in. I'm not a big wine and bibber, but going in, she has like snacks and stuff like that, and grabbing something to eat, maybe picking up the latest book and like mellowing out, and then watching other people. People are funny. You all are funny, whether you know it or not. You're very amusing. And so the grand opening is this Saturday, February 5th. Make sure I'm not telling any fibs. February 5th, I got it right. 11 a.m. is the ribbon cutting. And she's having an author in it too. I'm just really looking forward to it. So I say, come on down. It's at 1311 East Main Street, Richmond, Virginia. If you are not in Richmond, I'm sorry. Although you are welcome to come to town that day to experience it. And we have some other things you can see while you're here too. So that is Saturday. Woohoo! Congratulations, Crystal. Looking forward to seeing you all Saturday there. All right. So, speaking of books and words, takes us into our word for the week. And so, our word for this week is redress. Not redress. Not to get dressed again, but redress. Right? And so what that basically means is to make it right. Yes. So that is what that means. So you can address something, right? You can address something, and that's not like our address here is 1510 Willow Drive. No, not that address. You address something by taking the time to say, I am approaching this subject matter directly. I'm not skirting around it. I'm not ghosting it. You millennials, bless you so much. I am going to address this cause. I'm going to address this issue. I am not skirting around it. Notice how all these things seem to have some like clothing relationship. Address, redress, skirting around. Okay, sorry, my brain. That's how it works. So to redress is really like you address something, but now whatever you address, you probably did it incorrectly. We are human, and sometimes we say things that are inappropriate or just totally wrong, or we're ignorant or inconsistent in our speech or whatever. All these public apologies are people, they're redressing. They're recognizing, hopefully recognizing that something they said or did had a negative impact or wasn't the impact they desired. So they are redressing what they addressed previously. Get it? Got it? Gone with it. Okay? And so in the vein of redressing leads us to our book it moment. All right? Our book for this week is Satisfaction. Isn't there a song for that? I can't get no satisfaction. Oh, I don't want to sing that. That's very sad. I want to be satisfied. Sorry. Okay. So our book is Satisfaction. It's written by Chris. I don't know if it's Denove or if I'm looking at it, it looks like Denove. If it's not, my apologies. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know how to say your name. And James Powers of J.D. Power and Associates, right, who always do all those reviews. And I have to tell you, I love this book. Y'all know all the books we go over are books that are either in my library or that I picked up somewhere along the line. And so when we're talking about redressing, right, I think all along the lines of your impact, your relationship with your customer. Because if your customer's not satisfied, they are not going to keep coming back. Now, the only way that people come back when they're not happy is because you have to be amazing. So, for example, talk about not being happy. There is a local eatery in Richmond, and it's called the Sugar Shack. Sugar Shack, right? Sugar Shack. And you think that's sweets? It's not per se. It's fish and shrimp and fries, and I don't know what else they have because that's all I get every time that I go there. But it's a seafood establishment. And it is done in part by Mr. Eggleston. Speaking of Black history, an amazing individual here in Richmond, Virginia, who has done so much. So back in the day when there was segregation and 2nd Street was considered the Black Wall Street here in Richmond, Eggleston was one of those staples. They had the Eggleston Hotel, which has now been redone as something else. Some other, I think it's a hotel again, but someone else's. And they had this fish place at the bottom of the hotel that my mother took me to as a kid, right? So I feel like we're all full circle. And then they opened the Croaker spot in Southside, also amazing. And now Mr. Eggleston has the Sugar Shack. So the food, I call it sugar crack. It is addictive. I started to take a picture the other night because it snowed here the other day. Would you like to know where I was whilst the snow was falling? And I was not alone. I was in line at Sugar Shack. Because here's the thing for you all to know who are not residents in Richmond, Virginia. Sugar Shack, when used to be like a Bullets. It's I think it's Bullets that had the drive-thru and they didn't have any indoor seating. So you stand in the drive-thru line. And they have these little crabs to help you know where you're 6 feet apart from each other. And you stand there in the rain, in the heat, in the snow. And then you place your order. And they take your name and you go sit down in your car if you're like me, or they have a seating area. But then I mentioned them in the snow. And then they call your name to the window. But they make your food after you've placed your order. So it's fresh and hot. And it really is crack. I mean, I know crack kills people, all jokes aside. But I want you to know I stood in the snow. So normally speaking, this is not the type of behavior that customers will support you for, right? You tell me you're opening up a restaurant or a fast food joint and it's not convenient, then we don't come to that. We don't do that. So, yeah, we don't. No, that's just totally unacceptable. But when what you make is better than everyone else's, when what you do is stellar, then you can do crazy stuff like that. You can have I'm always amazed. There is always a line at Sugar Shack. Always. And people talk to each other. I'm introverted. We don't want to have a conversation. But people will come in and they'll compare, like, where are you from? So, like, people have driven into town from, like, Maryland and D.C. And there was one guy's like, I came up from North Carolina. I'm like, to stand in line at Sugar Shack. Yeah. So, talk about satisfaction. Yeah, because that whole line process, it's not like Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A is known for its excellent customer service. I actually saw a survey the other day and I was talking about how one of the reasons why people love to go there is that they address you very quickly. They have a crazy line and they will actually have people out there in the rain, snow, heat, etc., like the post office, taking your order to help you get through the process quicker. Sometimes if it's really hot, they'll provide you with a cup of lemonade while you wait. Like, that is stellar customer service. And so that's part of their mantra. We used to have a U-Crops here. They were known for their customer service. The baggers actually took your bag to the car and would not accept a tip and could not accept a tip and were paid well enough that they didn't need your tip. That is the things that your company can be known for. What is your company known for, right? So that brings us back to satisfaction. All right, so I want to read just a small little snippet because they gave some tips on how you can do better customer service. But there's a story that I didn't know, and I think Christina with a C, who is our producer over here in the Imagine Media Lab, she's over there, will greatly appreciate because it's about cars. She likes cars. It's not about Tesla, Christina, but it's still about cars. So here's the deal, and this is stuff I did not know. Did anyone know that Lexus has only been around since 1987? I had no, I don't know why I thought they'd always been around, and I should have, and I just knew they were popping up everywhere. But whilst I was in high school, Lexus was born, right? And so Toyota used to just be known for small economical vehicles, which makes sense because it's a Japanese company, and so they don't have a lot of room. They don't have a lot of space. For a lot of people, not a lot of space. So SUVs are not a thing in Japan, but tiny cars are. So they brought those over here to the States. That's what they were known for, small economical vehicles. In 1987, they decided, we're going to do luxury. We're going to do luxury vehicles. And everyone laughed and like, it's not going to work. And everyone wanted them to fail because they were encroaching upon like Mercedes and those luxury brands in their arena. Like, that's not your lane. Stay in your lane. And they're like, we're widening our lane. So that was what was going on. So when they first got started, so 1987, they're just getting started, and two of their cars had a glitch. Like, out of all the cars they sold, so they sold them for like 40,000, a little under 40,000 when they first started, which was half of the price of a Mercedes vehicle. And just and they were selling very, very well. And not 2%, just two cars had a glitch. And they were trying to make a decision about how they were going to handle it, right? What redress were they going to provide in this situation? Were they going to cover it up or not acknowledge it publicly and just deal with those two cars? Because they could have very easily just been anomalies and not be a real issue. Were they going to issue a recall on all of their cars? Especially knowing that the entire car industry is watching what they're doing and waiting for them to fail. And so Lexus said, we have stated that our position, our messaging is that we are luxury, we are high-end, we are not the norm. So we are going to be that example from the top down, which is very important. They said we're going to be the messaging from the top down. We're not just expecting that person in the dealership to be, hands-on and great. We're all going to be it. So not only did they do a recall on all the cars of that model that were made, they sent out a personalized apology letter to each person who purchased the car. They physically went up to pick up everyone's vehicle, no matter where they were in the United States, because they were only in the U.S. at the time. Wherever you were, they would come to you, pick up your vehicle, give you a loaner car whilst you waited for your car. They returned your car, washed, gassed, vacuumed, and there was a gift for you inside the car for the inconvenience. Then to take it a step further, there were apparently some vehicles that were in Alaska where they didn't have a car distributorship. So their technician went to that person's house on site and fixed the car and did all the things so that they could handle that issue. And that is how Lexus was born. Like, if you've always thought that they were luxe and amazing, that's where the image and the reputation came from, because they put their money where their mouth was. So that's how you get satisfaction from your clients and your customers. Like, if you're going to do it right. Do it all the way. So I still say kudos to Lexus. I did not know that story. Thank you, Satisfaction. I learned something new. And it made a lot of sense with regards to people's loyalty to Lexus. Like, I never understood it. Like, why are people so loyal to Lexus? I get it now. I got it. If that's how they treat you, no wonder. Maybe my next car will be a Lexus. I don't know. I kind of lean towards, I really want an American-made car. But we'll see. But much respect to Lexus. Okay. So in the book, they talk about, sinking your teeth in, putting teeth in the platitudes. Because all of these companies, every company always talks about good customer service and how much they care. But unlike, Lexus, they're not willing to really get in and do the work necessary to live up to the hype, right? So everybody talks about satisfying the customer. But who does? I can tell you stories from just this week of how annoyed I have been with various vendors and companies because the customers, they're the least important thought right now. I do want to point this out before I tell you these points. I've really been reflecting about the fact that how difficult is it in this day and age, right? We're still in the pandemic. It wanes, it ebbs, it comes back again. I've heard there's some other variant happening again. It's all this stuff is always happening. And so in the midst of that, we have this employee shortage, right? So then the question becomes, how are you as a company and how are other companies able to maintain their mantras, maintain your mission, maintain your statement of corporate ethics when employees are like constantly changing? So I really reflect on that because just yesterday I got really irritated at 2 fast food places. Yes, I went to 2 different fast food places yesterday. Sure did. I gotta eat. And I have to have time. Yep. I did not have the sugar crack yesterday. But that was not a bad idea. I did not. I think day before I did. Okay, so yesterday we have a new. I'm just gonna say the names, like whatever. We have a new Bojangles in Richmond, off Brook Road. And so I went when they first opened, and everything was great. And so I went back because my mother, she enjoyed what I got her and she wanted it. So I went to get it last night. And there were literally like, I'm going to say 8 or 9 people working. There were probably more. That's what I can see from the window. So I'm coming through the drive-through. There are 5 people, like literally 5 people by the window. And yet and still, it took forever for me to get my food. My sandwich was hard. And I was just like, why are we going through this? Like, the satisfaction level was very low. And then I went to McDonald's. Was it McDonald's? Yes, because I went and got a sweet tea, which was terrible. How do you mess up a sweet tea? Anyway, so I went to McDonald's, and the customer service was womp, womp, womp. And so they're nice enough, but abrupt. The young lady, I had a young lady at Arby's the other day roll her eyes. I'm like, Arby's? Rolling your eyes? Like, what's happening here? So I was empathetic to the fact that as a company, one, do you have a standard about how you keep your customers satisfied? 2, how do you maintain it when you're barely holding on to an employee? Like, everyone is like, the fact that your fast food restaurants are now offering $15 an hour, $13 an hour to get started when they used to offer $7 or $8, that tells you that your competition for that employee has risen drastically. So, one, I'd say for everyone, try to be patient with this, ever circle of employees in, employees out. But then 2, if you're the entrepreneur, how are you going to address that, right? So before it becomes necessary for you to redress it, how are you going to address the fact that people are still looking to be satisfied, still looking for good customer service? Are you going to make sure that your product is like sugar crack worthy so that people will put up with your mess? What are you going to do? Question for you. All right. But here are some of the tips that they give you from the book, Satisfaction. All right. And so what they say is, here are some critical truths for you to understand in your quest for customer satisfaction. All right. So first, 5 tips. Here you go. 5 tips for turning the merely satisfied customers into advocates. 5 truthful, critical tips. 1, you must recognize that customer satisfaction must become an integral part of the corporate culture. It's not just an afterthought. It's really a part of what you do, like that Lexus example we talked about earlier. Number 2, companies can't just mouth the words. They have to sing the song loudly. Okay. You know how we like to sing around here. Number 3, employees must understand that the customer satisfaction push is not just a passing phase. It is here to stay. Your customers are here to stay, then their satisfaction has to stay. Otherwise, they won't stay. Number 4, financial as well as strategic decisions must be made based on generating long-term customer satisfaction, even at the expense of short-term profits. I'd like to repeat that in. So you're looking at long-term customer satisfaction, even at the expense of short-term profits. Too many businesses are focused on now, and then you're wondering why they're not around tomorrow. Number 5, the customer satisfaction commitment flows like a waterfall from the top. So customers today are not interested in lip service. They want to know that you're going to give them all 5, that you're going to have a customer satisfaction centric circle about your business, and that the customer really does come first. So, once again, tips from our book for this week, our Book It moment, satisfaction. So, keeping in line with our whole idea of address, redress, and understanding your corporate model, and so thereby understanding your customer and how to take care of them, I even want to take it and peel the layers back a little bit further. So a lot of times you all are giving messages to your client, to the world. You're giving advertisements. And when I look at your items, your marketing materials, I don't know it's you. So like here at the center, at the Women's Business Center RVA, our colors are purple, green, and gold. And it's a particular hex code for the green. I just don't remember off the top of my head. It's on my computer. The point is we have a color palette. And a lot of times when you all are trying to do marketing, you're using the wrong colors, you're sending the wrong messages. I think to myself, there's an episode of Living Single, you can go watch it in the replay, right? There's an episode of Living Single where Maxine is running for alderman, and Regine is trying to consult her to look better in the eyes of this organization. And so she sits there and she has the actual color palette, the color wheel. And she's like, you wore this color, that means you hate babies. You wore this color, that means you hate the environment. You wore this color. And it was funny, but I sat there thinking, it's true. Colors have meaning. All right. And for those of you who might not know what the colors mean, I actually included for your leisure and information and reading pleasure, I included some of the color information on the screen, but you can also go to sparkinteract.com.au. So I thought they did a really excellent job of talking about different colors, what they mean, even showing some of the agencies that are using some of these colors. So I thought that was pretty helpful. Because we always talk about red, we know that power, passion, energy, orange, cheerful and warmth, and pink, energetic, femininity. I don't know who came up with that, but I know pink is a thing. I've just never understood why. Green, my favorite color. Nature, peaceful, right? And so just FYI, totally random. My name is Shirley, and that means out of a meadow. So see how I naturally identify with nature and green and being peaceful and calm? And then yellow, yellow is also, it's a motivating color, right? So even when we talk about like the color we paint the walls, everything else, we're looking at what do these colors mean? You can't just go, I mean, it's nice if you like blue, but what does blue mean? Well, let me tell you, trustworthy, strength, security, positivity. That's part of the Imagine Media Lab colors. Green, royal, sophistication, luxury, right? So if you're a luxury brand, it might be a good idea for you to enlist a little purple in your marketing colors. So that's where you first start, like thinking about the color spectrum, the color palette that you might use. And then let's say you come across and you say, like, I know for every business I have, I'm trying to think. Yeah, every business I have, green is in the color palette. They might be different shades of green, but every single business that I have to think about it. There's one that doesn't. I have one of the nonprofits does not have green in the color. That's it. But every other business that I has green in the color. So I always know I'm going to start, whenever I'm starting my color palette for my business, I always know I'm going to start with the color green. So I pick the shade of green, and then I will visit the color wheel and see what other colors match. Like what part of that is the color palette. For those of you who might not have access to general color wheels, you don't have that lovely Pantone booklet that shows you all the different shades of the colors, then I have a tool for you, free. Okay, we've talked about Canva before, but Canva actually has a color palette option. So you can actually go on to Canva and you can use their color palette tool. Just put in color palette, PALETTE, and it will show you the colors that go together. So when you think about your palette of your tongue, like your taste buds, there are certain things that go together very well. So sweet and sour, right? So salty and spicy. Like what are the things that mix? Your color palette is showing you here are the colors. They're hex color. They're all kinds of things that you don't care about. That everyone else behind the scenes, if they are really interested in that, would know. Yes, Christina over there with the C is letting you all know that she cares. I care as well. If you're designing, but if you are a business and you're trying to have a logo and you're doing a brand and you're branding yourself, and you need to have a consistent message, and that starts with the color palette. Here's a tip for you all who are having a vendor or a contractor provide you with service with regard to graphic design, logo development, or creating your website, or any of your marketing materials. If they are a quality person, the first thing that they will do is either ask you about your color palette, your brand colors, or they will establish them for you. And when they give it back to you, it won't look like blue, red, green. It'll be, I want to say ampersand. It's not. The hashtag, I forget the real name of that. I don't know what's happened in my brain. Just think the hashtag for you younger people, and it'll be 000000. Thank you. It's pound. It is the pound key, but it has another name too. But okay, pound hashtag. It has a real name. Y'all know how I feel about like words, but right now I'm not getting it. So you let it flow. But it'll have the pound key and 6 numbers. 6 numbers. 0000000. 6 numbers. Like that's black. In case you didn't know. Right. So they're going to give you like the hex number or some other number. And it might mean nothing to you, but I promise you it means something to your printer. Right. And so like we had our business cards printed here. And so I'm very anal. We didn't physically print the business cards here. I designed the business cards, and I tend to use Staples or Richmond printing a lot. Every blue moon, I might go back out to Vistaprint, but it doesn't happen as much as it did in my earlier years, right? I like to go local so that if I have a problem, I can go back to them immediately and they fix it. So in this case, I had the cards printed, and my hex numbers look different on my printer than they did coming from, at this point, Staples did the printing. Right. And so, but we're all looking at the same information, but that's how you know this is how it's supposed to look no matter where you're printing it. Keeping in mind, different printers read that differently. Different monitors read that differently. Right. And that's why we talk about these 4K monitors and like what's your pixels, like all that information is relevant information because the output, if you want it to look the same universally, it looks different depending on the inputs and the outputs. Okay, we're not going to geek out. We're coming back. Come on back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go too far. Come on back. Color palettes. Back to the beginning. So if you are working with someone of quality, they should be sharing that information. Whether you understand it or not, if they're really quality, they give you a brand guide. And in the brand guide, it talks about the size of the logo, what fonts should be used with it, the color of the text, the primary colors, the secondary colors, the tertiary colors, which just means the third level behind. Like that's their ranking order, the first, second, and third colors, right? And so they'll give you all of that if they are indeed of quality. So file that tip away. You can always use that later. But for now, until you're ready to bring that person on board, you can go do your own color palette on Canva. So you are welcome for that tip. And now, we want to take a moment um, because I'm really recognizing just the level of stress that everyone is under. And we're not minimalizing it. We recognize and know that there are a lot of reasons to be really stressed right now. I think I shared with you all a couple weeks ago an exercise. I've watched these exercises online to help me to not carry my tension. And it's amazing to me. Like just this morning, I tried to make sure that I work out. We still have health goals. We still have things that we're taking care of for ourselves. For myself, part of my goal is to be a lot lighter and to run a half marathon. And so, as daunting as that sounds, and as daunting as that may be, I start one step at a time. So, like even this morning when I was working out, I felt the tension leaving my shoulders and lower back. And I'm always amazed because every time I work out, I feel the tension releasing again, which tells me every day I'm accumulating more tension. And so I am trying to make sure that I am utilizing mechanisms, tools, resources to not only work off the stress, but to eliminate some of it. I am learning my triggers, what makes me tense up, what makes me stress. And that way I can address it while it's happening. Right. And so, with that in mind, I want to share with you our work hard, play harder moment. This is an exercise that I've only recently started with my friends. And because even though we just got it started, I see the impact it's having on me, then I wanted to share it with you all, right? I call it Take 5. So for a lot of us, it's hard to find an hour a day. I think you should, but it's hard. So if your life is like mine, I am at the whim of whatever my mother might be needing. So if I get back to my desk, she might have called me and requested something. There might be doctor's appointments. There might be other things. I am still very engaged with my church. And if they need things, like there's a meeting tomorrow night that I'll be going to for that by Zoom. I work here at the center. That means there are tons of members and individuals who might be having mini crises, have a question. That's just my job. This is my responsibility. I'm very engaged in our community. I'm very engaged in all kinds of other things. So things are pulling and tugging at you from all ends. How do you make sure that you're included in your day? So I came up with this concept called Take 5, right? 5 minutes. 5 minutes every day where you do something that's just you. Now, if you are an extrovert and you're just you as you want to do something with someone else for 5 minutes, that's up to you. No one is here to judge your Take 5. The point is, you know that every day you're taking a minimum of 5 minutes to do something just for you. So for me last night, I did a puzzle. And you want to know how I did a puzzle in 5 minutes? It's only 24 pieces. Right? I didn't break the bank for it. It's a Dollar Tree puzzle. It's got the big pieces. $1.25. And so the big pieces, and somehow for another, it triggers me in a really positive way. So it engages my mind without me having to be like stressed out about where's the next piece. Now, when it's more than that, when it's like I have a puzzle that's 1,000 pieces that I want to put together, right now that would stress me out because I would want it to be complete. Like I have too many incomplete things in my life. I need some things that I'm doing for fun to be able to be done in that time frame so that I can feel accomplished. Right? It is. It's most definitely like that creative outlet. It most definitely is that. And so I'd like to suggest to you all to consider Take 5. Just for you. All right? But speaking of community and taking care of others, which also helps you a lot in your own mental status, here at the Women's Business Center, we are starting a donation box. right? So that means every month or every other month, we will be supporting a local organization. I say local, it doesn't have to be local. We'll be supporting an organization. We'll be either accepting donations for items. We haven't talked about it being money yet, but we'll see. We are looking in our community, seeing what needs there are, and finding ways to provide that. So right now, we are supporting the Mercy House, Mercy Mall, Mercy Mall. And so right now we are collecting winter items, right? Coats, hats, scarves, anything warm for those who need that. Like it's amazing to me how many of us, especially the Americans, are cluttered. Like even as I'm sorting through my office, I have all kinds of stuff that I think I need and I might need once because someone runs in and asks for it. But we have an abundance of stuff. Even at the impoverished level, we have a lot more than others, especially from other countries. And so we're just asking you, if it's in your heart, if it's in your mind, take a moment, go visit with the QR code, learn more about what we're doing, and if you can, and you're here in Richmond, you can bring your donations to 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. That means you get out of your car, you get into the elevator, you press 1. We have the entire floor. The donation box is right there in front of the elevator. You don't even have to say hi to me. That's fine. Just take a moment, bring your donations, and they'll be greatly appreciated. And something else when we talk about taking 5 or taking care of yourself, a lot of times just doing something nice for someone else has the biggest impact. Bigger than you can even imagine on your own heart, your own mind, your own spirit. So on that note, we're about to say goodbye. I do want to make mention once again, if you haven't followed us already, if you're not subscribing, we're on all channels at WorkHARDaholic, WorkHARDaholic. We'd love for you to follow. We'd love for you to share because we believe we have information that's great for the rest of the world. If you have a question you'd like for us to answer, submit that question online at admin@WorkHARDaholics.com. I'm Shirley Crawford, the original WorkHARDaholic, your host, coming to you from the Imagine Media Lab with our producer, Christina with a C, wishing you all the best as you work hard, play harder, business better. We also ask that you do better, live better, be better. Until next time. Ta-ta!
Let Socialita help your business stand out from the crowd by building your brand success through social media management. We're located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. Our website is www.socialitarva.com. You can also give us a call at 804-484-2001. Again, Socialita.
Imagine Media Lab, in partnership with the Women's Business Center, offers hourly rental to a multimedia studio. Create or edit digital assets for marketing. Record that podcast you've always wanted to start. Voiceovers and live stream. All equipment and software is included in your hourly rental. Located at the Women's Business Center, 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100. ImagineMediaLabs.com. Book your session today.